Good evening, my friends. Today, I'm gonna share on the crucifixion, and just want to read this part about the crucifixion where Jesus ends and says, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And also, it's more than likely probable that Jesus was crucified on a Thursday, because 3 days and 3 nights in the grave had to be accomplished. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then raised on Sunday morning. So Thursday evening, Friday evening, Saturday evening, Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. So that's, and we know it was Sunday because it was the day after the Sabbath. And then the reason why they were not able to um, go to the grave the first time was because the day, that night that Jesus was crucified, was a high Sabbath. So there's two Sabbaths in a row. So that's why they weren't able to go until the third day. Anyways, that's another story in itself. So they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall, and when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him, and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set up over his head his accusation written, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." Then there were two thieves crucified with him, one on the right hand and another on the left. And those that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads and saying, "You have destroyed the temple and built it, and you build it in 3 days. Save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross. You who says you can destroy the temple and build it again in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross." Likewise also the chief priests mocked him with the scribes and elders, said, "He saved others. Himself he cannot save. If he's the King of the Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God, let him deliver him, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God." The thieves also, who which were crucified with him, cast them in his teeth. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over the land unto the ninth. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani?" That is to say, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And I read all that just because I think it's important to understand, what's going on where Jesus is saying, my God, why have you forsaken me?" First and foremost, at this, it says that he became sin. He made him who knew no sin to become sin for us, so that we might be the righteousness of God. So God, in Leviticus, it talks about, there's a scapegoat that you lay your hands. In Leviticus 16, they would kill one goat and sprinkle with the blood, and then after they had made an atonement, they would lay the hands on this other goat, and they would put all the sins of Israel upon this goat and then send it off into the wilderness, and the goat would carry away the sins into the wilderness. So in this time, the Father has laid all of our sin upon Jesus, and their fellowship has been broken. They're not one. That's why he's even saying, my God, my God." He's not referring to him as the Father. He's like not feeling the whole Father thing at this time, because he's laden with all the sin of the world. And um I just think it's important that we understand that. And also, so he's the scapegoat. All the sin of Israel is laid upon him. The Father has left him to bear the sin. And then Jesus is crying out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Also, it is a fulfillment of Psalm 22, and even we could even say maybe Jesus is intentionally saying, my God, why have you forsaken me?" in order to bring everyone who's around him Psalm 22 to their mind. Most Jews would have known when he says, my God, why have you forsaken me?" They would have immediately gone to Psalm 22. And if they read Psalm 22, everything that's happening in this crucifixion, they're parting his garments, they're saying, mocking him, they're saying, "Come down from there." They give him vinegar to drink, because he's thirsty. All those things. Well, the giving him vinegar to drink is pretty much assumed in Psalm 22 because he says his tongue cleaves to his mouth. But if you read Psalm 22, basically, read Psalm 22, read this passage, and think about when Jesus says this, and it's like the last reach of the Father out to all these people that are witnessing this, to show, like, hey, like, this is your hope. This is what's happening right now. This was what was foretold about the Messiah and his suffering. So Jesus is giving the Jews the opportunity to put their faith in him again. But also, he really feels like he's been forsaken because the sin of the world is upon him, and the Father has allowed him to be in darkness. So let's put our hope in Jesus, who took our sin upon him so that we can be righteous. Amen.